Hey, what is up guys? It's Brendan here, and today we're going to be doing a QuickBooks online review, taking a look at the pros and cons of Intuit QuickBooks. Is QuickBooks right for you? That's what we're going to be diving in today's video. Now, before we dive in, I do want to mention that first link down in the description box below will take you right over to a special discount that I have just for the viewers of this channel, and that is brandonvalesky.com/QuickBooks. We'll take you right over to this page here. Now, of course, the pricing is accurate as of the making of today's video. This is all subject to change, but this is the current discount offer that I have for those of you watching today's video. So feel free to check out that first link down in the description box below. If you do want to end up going with QuickBooks, then feel free to use that link. It may support the channel. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the review. So Intuit QuickBooks. I have personally used Intuit QuickBooks, spent a ton of time in the software learning all the interworkings, and that's what we're going to be diving into primarily in today's video, covering QuickBooks Online. We will touch on QuickBooks Self-Employed as well a little bit, just to scratch the surface, and if you're considering it, go over a little bit of the pros and cons of maybe comparing QuickBooks Online versus QuickBooks Self-Employed a little bit as well, but primarily we're focusing on QuickBooks Online. Now, I want to also say, first and foremost, I am not a CPA. I am not an accountant. I do not have a lot of accounting experience other than one college course on accounting, right? So this is coming from someone who is a self-employed business owner who just wants to get their accounting and bookkeeping sorted out just in time for taxes, for tax time, at the end of the year, so you can pay your taxes, maximize your expenses, deductions, and really track all of your income, because at the end of the day, it is very important to have a good understanding of your business's income and expenses so you get good analytics and insights and have that visibility into your profit and loss statements, your P&Ls, and just getting an overall idea of the health of your business. So it's super important to utilize accounting software such as a company like QuickBooks. And we're going to be diving into really a lot of the specifics and nitty-gritty details of QuickBooks, as well as what they all have to offer, as far as the pros, the cons as well. So with QuickBooks, because I'm not a CPA or accountant, I am coming at this from just a pure business owner perspective. I'm not really super familiar with all the lingo that a ton of other people on YouTube have as far as accounting. So this is really just comparing the details that are most important for self-employed or business owners themselves. So first off, I will say the app is excellent, right? So the app is a really great feature and makes it super easy to track the overall health of your business on the go. Just really nice. Now, I will also say that a lot of the features that come with QuickBooks, maybe you're comparing the different plans and pricing, each plan and pricing, and really even just the simple start plan, the entry level plan for QuickBooks, probably, works just great for most people, although even then, there will still be a lot of these features that you may not necessarily utilize to the full to its full extent or benefit, and that's completely fine, because I feel like QuickBooks really, as a whole, it has a lot of features that just kind of cover all aspects of a small business, right? For small business owners, a lot of different features that you may need or want out of an accounting software. QuickBooks comes with a lot more than even just pure accounting software. So it's important to note that, hey, you may not even utilize all the features. I know I personally don't currently utilize all of the features that QuickBooks has to offer, but the features that I do utilize are super helpful. And I'll go into the more specifics, but just as a quick takeaway from this video is that even if you don't use every feature, QuickBooks can still be a good option for you in your business, especially maybe when you compare it to some of the other accounting software and bookkeeping software that's available out there. So yes, that is something else to keep in mind as well. Now, some of the biggest tools that most people probably care about that come with QuickBooks is, like I mentioned before, tracking your income and expenses. Now, this is a relatively newer feature for QuickBooks, but the automation and being able to automatically set the rules for income and expenses is super, super nice, especially if you're looking to separate those personal and business expenses. You can do that within the Simple Start. You can separate business and personal expenses as well. All you have to do is exclude the personal expenses. So you can still keep things nice and simple and easy. Now, before using QuickBooks, I was just using a simple spreadsheet. If you're a low volume business, maybe a spreadsheet is all that you need, but you could still utilize both, right? So maybe a spreadsheet still makes sense for you in combination with QuickBooks, because at the end of the day, there's still going to be certain KPIs or key performance indicators that you're going to need to utilize out of a spreadsheet. But QuickBooks is really good for just maximizing those income and expenses as they are earned for tax time especially. And we'll get into some of the other specifics there as far as what QuickBooks offers with that as well, because they are part of the Intuit umbrella. We'll go into a little bit of other details there as why I like them. So auto tracking income and expenses, that's a really, really great feature and something that is somewhat more manual if you are using a spreadsheet, exporting CSVs from your bank. Another nice thing that not a ton of people mention too is that QuickBooks, because they are really like one of the most popular softwares and most accountants and bookkeepers, are familiar with QuickBooks, makes it easy. If maybe you're doing this all yourself, that's great. You can easily do this yourself as a self-service tool, but you can also, add in your accountants or bookkeepers and add them on to your QuickBooks account so that they can manage things for you. But as far as exporting that transaction data, whether it be connecting automatically through your bank, if you do have to do something manual, maybe you need to go back a certain amount of months and check your transaction log from months ago, you can easily export Qbo files from a lot of the different popular banking platforms. Maybe you're using Chase or Bank of America or Wells Fargo or whatever bank that you personally use. A lot of them do offer the export of Qbo files, which just makes importing a heck of a lot easier when you have to import your transaction data for things that maybe aren't automatically imported through QuickBooks from your bank. So that's another thing to keep in mind when you're tracking the income and expenses and logging your transactions. Now, another thing with QuickBooks as well that's super nice is that nothing really goes in unless you take a look at it and confirm the transaction as well, which makes it really nice for categorizing things and always knowing, where you stand in your business and making sure that you're maximizing those expense categories and deductions for when it comes tax time. It makes it just a more proactive way to do things, as well as setting up automation so that maybe when you first get started with QuickBooks, it takes a while to get your account set up, but once you get those automations integrated, it can be sort of almost like a hands-off experience because the automation tools are kicking into gear. Let's say you get paid from the same vendor every month, you can set up naming features where, the name of that vendor is then, okay, that's a check that you're getting from a customer, or maybe you pay out of a specific vendor every month, and that's an easy expense that's automatically logged. And once you set that up, you can set it and forget it. You don't have to worry about that again as far as tracking things in your bookkeeping. So that's another nice aspect. Now, as far as other additional features that QuickBooks offers, you can manage bills, send invoices, 1099s as well, and track inventory. So once again, depending on the specific nature of your business, you may need these features, you may not need certain features, right? It just depends. QuickBooks is really designed to try and hit all the points of all different types of businesses. Maybe if you're a construction company, or maybe you are managing more employees, you have equipment that you need to depreciate, you can do that as well. Equipment depreciation in QuickBooks. So, and you can also do receipt captures, right? So you can do mileage tracking. Say, maybe if you don't drive for business, you're not going to be using that mileage tracking. But if you do drive, you can do mileage tracking and help maximize your deductions. Because at the end of the day, your sales data is important, but really categorizing all those different, tax deductions and tracking your miles, different receipt capture really helps go a long way to make sure that you're logging all those different expenses. So at the end of the day, come tax time, you're saving more money. So that's another really good pro as far as utilizing a platform like QuickBooks, because it's just a bit more manual if you're doing that all through a spreadsheet. it just makes it just a lot more manual, harder to track, and will take a lot more time at the end of the day, especially if you're a more higher volume business, you have a lot of transactions. The less transactions you have, the not as bad as it is, but it's still a nice feature. Now, as far as doing the invoices through QuickBooks, really, really nice. I mean, honestly, QuickBooks, even just for the invoicing software alone, is really worth it if you plan on using and sending professional invoices. QuickBooks makes it super easy for customers to pay. That's why they're at the top of the list of my invoicing and billing software list. And really at the top of my list for small business accounting as well. But if you are doing invoices and sending invoices, it really is a nice feature for that as well. You can have the custom like logos, you can have your logo on there. You can also, easily send out those invoices and getting paid. And then that's also then logged right in QuickBooks, which is also nice. But it makes a lot more sense, if you're trying to get paid, you can easily set out those invoices with all of that extra data gets imported into QuickBooks as well. And customers can easily pay, as you can see here, even with Apple Pay. So that's nice. Like I mentioned before, tracking your mileage automatically. You can track your mileage to maximize your deductions there, and logging your miles that you drive for business as well. Like I mentioned before, you can easily sync in with popular banks. Like I mentioned, Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, American Express. You can also link PayPal, which is really, really nice for a lot of business owners that utilize PayPal. You can also log your PayPal transactions so you get more insights and more visibility into the specific transactions that you have, with PayPal as well, which is also nice. Now, one of the things with QuickBooks as well, as far as like organization, setting out the profit and loss statements is super, super useful. As you can see here in this little screenshot here that they have for QuickBooks, you can easily view your total profit and loss for the year. You can set up these reports with the last 30 days, year to date, really however you want to slice it, you can slice it, last month data. Another thing that's really nice about the app specifically is that you can view your income and expenses in a chart format. So as you can see here, you have it logged and viewing your net profit. So I really like the app. It's even a totally different level of insights than the the online, like if you go on a desktop computer or laptop, what the view looks like on a regular browser or computer compared to the app. It is a little bit different. And then the net profit statements are really, really nice to be able to see within the app. You can also see how things are going throughout the year. So your total net profit month to month, you can see that. Now, if you are utilizing the invoicing feature, which, if you're utilizing that and sending estimates and quotes, maybe you already have some recurring sources of income, QuickBooks can help automate that and predict future cash flows. Now, I personally don't utilize the projection and the cash flow statement aspect. I really just use QuickBooks for the profit and loss and tracking those expenses and income for the year to see things as they're coming in. But that is another feature, say, if you have things that are maybe a few months out and you're waiting on getting paid from certain customers. Maybe you have a lot of accounts that are going to be coming in, like being paid in the future months. You can sort of track some of that stuff with QuickBooks as well if that's important to you. Now, I do want to touch on the self-employed version as well before we dive into some of the other additional features that you can set up with QuickBooks. So for most people, I would say that, the simple start is great. If you're not including like a bunch of extra users or entering time logs or paying bills directly, if you're not going to be adding additional users, then if it's just you as a small business owner, then the simple start, that's what I personally use and it works great for me now. Another thing to mention with QuickBooks Online is that it's more scalable long-term. You can easily upgrade from the simple start to the essentials, to the plus, to the advanced. If you need to, you don't. If you don't need to, then you don't have to. But it really makes the scaling process, if you're growing your business and over time naturally, it makes it easier for you to upgrade your plan. However, that is one of the differences with QuickBooks Self-Employed. So Self-Employed is a totally different product from QuickBooks Online. That's why the majority of the video here is on QuickBooks Online, because that's really what most people in the community recommend. That's what I personally use is the regular QuickBooks Online Simple Start. Now, it just depends on what your specific needs are. For some people, maybe like freelancers or people that maybe aren't scaling, or they don't need the additional insights and reports, maybe they don't need the same level of automation and things to save time, then maybe just regular self-employed is fine for you if you need to separate your business and personal expenses. Of course, you want to separate your business and personal expenses as well within their Simple Start or any QuickBooks platform. It does make it easier if you do have a personal and business bank account, but even if you don't, even if everything just goes into one personal bank account, it is still easy to exclude transactions and keep your transactions separate and specifically logged. So you can still do that all within regular QuickBooks Online, and then that's one of the main things that they advertise within QuickBooks Self-Employed. So, and then you can also maximize your Schedule C deductions, of course, for tax time. Your quarterly estimated taxes calculated automatically, as well as mileage tracking. So you don't have as many features. You don't have like the invoicing and all the other additional business level features within the Simple Start. You don't have the same level of automation and the reports and profit and loss statements. It's just really a stripped down version of QuickBooks that they offer within Self-Employed. So if that's all you ever plan on doing, then sure, maybe go with that. It's a bit of a cheaper option. Now, if you are a larger size business and you do need payroll, then you can also add on payroll into your QuickBooks. So like I said, also really nice for scaling long term. If you have employees, if you need to add payroll, you can also add that to your regular QuickBooks Online plan. So that is nice. As you can see, it is optional. Of course, you don't need to. If you don't need to, you don't have to add the payroll. But really, the regular QuickBooks Online offers a lot of additional features for long-term business owners. It just depends on what your specific needs are. You may not use every single feature that QuickBooks has to offer, and that's okay. At the end of the day, it does just help you as far as certain things like seeing your profit at a glance. Of course, like I mentioned, if you need to do payroll, you can pay your team. You can get paid through the invoicing software as well. It's super easy to pay, as a customer or as a, receiving payments if you're doing things through QuickBooks. You also, have the option, if you're managing things, they also sell their live bookkeeping as an upsell as well. You can track your expenses and easily, start your business through QuickBooks. Now, they do also have like a little quiz here that you can take a look at as well. But in general, as far as the integrations with QuickBooks, you also have like QuickBooks Time Tracking, Amazon, Bill, a lot of other platforms like Etsy, Shopify, some of the other e-commerce platforms also seamlessly connect within QuickBooks. If you're looking at software compatibility and connections, you can easily set up a lot of integrations with QuickBooks as well, just because it is really like the most popular accounting software out there. There's a lot of integrations that exist for QuickBooks. Now, personally, why go with QuickBooks? Because it's under the Intuit umbrella. I'm already a longtime user of TurboTax, so it just makes it really easy with QuickBooks. Connects right to TurboTax for tax time, and everything is logged in there the same way. It's the same company. You also have Mint from Intuit, so it just the whole bundle of softwares, it really all pairs nicely together. If you're familiar with Intuit's other products, like I mentioned, TurboTax or Mint, then QuickBooks makes a ton of sense for you if you want things to be just seamless and sort of similar types of reporting. The automation really within QuickBooks is second to none. I would say that's really the best feature that I personally have experienced thus far within QuickBooks. And is why I definitely would recommend giving QuickBooks a shot. Depending on the plan that you need, it just depends on what you need specifically for your business. I would give them a shot, at least give them a try. You can still utilize your spreadsheet for other aspects, but just as far as reducing, errors as well, reducing the amount of time you're copying and pasting things, maybe you're missing things. Another nice thing with QuickBooks is, you can keep track of this every single month as your income and expenses come in, separating your business and personal. it just makes things a lot easier and less of a headache when it comes tax time and you need to report your earnings at that time of the year, of course. So, definitely would recommend checking out QuickBooks. Like I mentioned, this is just my personal experience with the platform as a small business owner. Definitely give them a shot. There's a lot of features, and yeah, so hope this video is helpful for you. If you enjoyed it, be sure to smash the like button and the subscribe button and hit the notification bell as well so you're notified whenever I upload a new video. Guys, if you want to sign up with QuickBooks, of course, once again, at that first link down in the description box below, brandvalesky.com/QuickBooks. Guys, that is all for today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.